So shout out to all of y'all coming up in here tonight. Shout out to all our people coming up in here. Like I said, this should make for an interesting discussion tonight, guys. I look forward to this one here. I actually had this one in my back pocket for about a week or so. I just didn't get a chance to actually go ahead and put it on. But the actual article tonight that we're discussing is definitely coming right off the Newstoter.com platform. Y'all make sure y'all visit Newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news in Black America. Newstoter is your favorite Black curation platform, largest Black curation platform. So definitely go ahead and support the actual platform as well, too, guys. For my people on YouTube, shout out to all my people on YouTube, guys. Tonight we're talking about up to 5% of white California residents could receive the state's slavery reparations. Like I said, it's going to be very interesting, and I want people to also wrap their head around this here too. We're talking about the amount of white folks that might receive slavery reparations. I want everybody to know that this could be a Pandora's box, not only the white, but then you're going to have people of all different ethnicities. You're going to have you'll have a few Asians, you'll have some Latinos, you'll have other race, Native Americans, and you have other people saying, hey, you know what, if y'all getting reparations, I have a great grandma that's also Black as well, too. So I don't want everybody to think that it's going to be more white folks that'll make that claim simply because, of the actual, all of the stuff that went down in slavery, the taking advantage of Black women and the kids and everything else. But you're going to have other races as well that's going to say, you know what, we also have Black in our blood, and we also should get this as well, too. So like I said, this is going to be quite the interesting conversation tonight. Shout out, I see Rera up in here as well, too. So shout out to Rera from the soil. Shout out to you as well. Go ahead and I see we got Woke AF in here. Woke AF. What's going on with you? How you doing?
It's been a minute. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How you doing?
Good. I just wanted to say, I put in the chat just being funny, but I'm not one of those white people, so I'll get that out of the way. But so I have no, I haven't read the article, so I don't know what they're claiming. But if there's these are the same people that created the one drop rule as well, correct? So isn't that cute how the one drop rule now will benefit them? I don't agree with that, but yeah, I think, are they trying to play numbers games? So 50%, generational games? It's ridiculous. So what is their basis? Is it
basically slavery? Basically almost like the role of the $5 Indian when it was time to go ahead and try to find a way to go ahead and get into that. They were able to do that as well too. The article touches up on it. I'm gonna be real. The article touches up on it, but it doesn't go in detail. But the article says a few things that kind of make you need to have your ears open to actually catch what it's actually saying. Now, the article is very anti. It comes off of Newstoter.com platform. One of our curation partners, Neo Jim Crow, actually is a curation platform itself, and they curated the article from another source. So the article is very, very anti-reparations. Let me just go ahead and say that right there. The people that wrote this, they're not a big fan of reparations. They think it's a joke. And when I start reading the article, they let you know straight up that, hey, we're not a fan of this. So let me go ahead real quick. I'm gonna touch up on a very quick article. Like I said, it comes from our curation partner, Neo Jim Crow, and I forgot exactly who they may have curated it from, but I want to go ahead and touch up on it. Like I said, when I touch up on it, the article lets you know that that they're very against reparations. To them, it's almost like a Ponzi scheme. As many as 5% of white California residents could qualify for the state's slavery reparations. Sane California Democrats have sought a way out of the state's nutty slavery reparations scheme ever since last year when a special task force appointed by left-wing Governor Gavin Newsom declared that the price tag could reach $800 billion. So they, like, right off the bat, they let you know, hey, this is how we feel. It's going to be a little biased piece. Other than some Black residents who stand to benefit from the proposal, Californians overwhelmingly oppose the idea of direct cash payments to Blacks, some of whom could reap $1.2 million each. But here's one thing that could surely kill California's reparations scheme. White people could qualify for payments. The Conservative Media Research Center reported last week that the state is considering creating an Office of Genealogy within the proposed California American Freedmen Affairs Agency, a cabinet-level office that would judge who's eligible for reparations. The Genealogy Office would evaluate claims based on proposed qualifications, which say reparations would go to descendants of African American chattel enslaved person in the United States. As no ancestry percentage qualifications, very important to hear that part. As no ancestry percentage qualifications have yet to be determined, this has raised the prospect that whites with some quantity of black ancestry may find themselves qualified to receive reparations, the MRC reported. The outlet quoted Michael Harriot of the National African American Reparations Commission, who noted recently that nationwide about 3.5% of people who identify as white, including around 5% of white Californians, have at least 1% of African ancestry. Thus, Harriet added, it is entirely possible that white people could claim the bulk of reparations. How in the hell can white people claim the bulk of reparations? That's why I say this article was full of it, but this article is letting you know exactly how it feels. While it's not entirely clear if black Democrats in California consider whether whites would benefit from a reparations scheme, the California Legislative Black Caucus, as the Tampa Free Press reported in January, introduced 14 measures related to civil rights, education, and criminal justice reform aimed at dismantling the legacy of slavery and systematic racism. Notably, what was excluded in the proposal was direct cash payments of descendants of slaves. Now, what I found interesting about that little piece, that first off, how in the hell, if reparations are going, this is the craziness. This is how biased the article was. Now, if reparations were actually talking about going to the actual descendants of those of chattel slavery, how could most white people get reparations? That's nonsense right there.
Have they been claiming black this whole time? Show me your college paperwork and your elementary school paperwork and every paperwork where you identify as black. I'm not even saying that would do anything, but it's just pointing out the convenience of it now. You know what I'm saying?
Well, no, they haven't been claiming black. No, they haven't been claiming black, and that's what I'm saying. The crazy thing about it, they haven't been claiming black, and then they even sit up here and say that it gets to the point that the article claims that that you could possibly have the bulk of the people getting reparations as white. That's impossible. No, you could not have the bulk of the people possibly getting reparations being white. That's impossible. Yeah, that's totally impossible. That's another thing that raised it. This article mentioned that in the actual article, there's no percentage of who may be able to get it. Now, the actual gentleman, Michael Harriot, and he says of the National African American Reparations Commission, said about 3.5% of white people identify as white, including around 5% of white Californians have at least 1% of African ancestry. Let me just sit there and say this. If you got 1% of so-called ancestry, you get nothing. Okay. If you're white and you sitting up and you say you got 1% of black blood and you don't get a dime. You don't get a dollar. You're not talking about 50%. You don't get 1 red cent. So that to sit up here, like I said, I don't even like the way that this is framed. Of course, like I say, the article is already anti-reparations, but to sitting up here and trying to frame it these silly ways that they do, I don't think so. Woke, I'm going to get back to you. Let me get to Tata. Tata, what's going on with you tonight?
Hey, Toter. Thank you for this space. Hi, family. How are you guys doing this evening?
What's up?
Yeah, this just burns me up. It really eats me up because how do you determine? I mean, which one did get reparations? During wasn't it a population of slave owners that did get reparations? How do we?
Yeah, they were all compensated.
Yeah, they were compensated for that as well. And it ticks me off because I have a aunt who's 95 years old and that live here in Lakeland, Florida. And my dad keep her yard up. She like to have pretty flowers and everything out there. So that's my father's great son, and that's my grandfather's aunt. And she's still living here, and it's ridiculous. So, that just really ticks me off. And just like you said, how do they determine that? Did they all have, whatever on their paperwork? Where did any of their paperwork said Negro, black, colored, or whatever, from in the past? So I don't know. I don't understand their logic on this. But that's all I have to say right now. Thank you, Tony.
All right, thank you, Tata. Tonight, guys, too. Also, I put up in the jumbotron. Tata, she has a website. Tata, you want to real quick just let everybody know about your website? We're going to give a couple T-shirts away up in the space tonight as well, too, guys. A couple of Juneteenth T-shirts. But Tata, you want to let everybody know about your business real quick?
Yes, I have event supply business, so it's www.visionseventsupply.store. That's visionseventsupply.store. So I do a lot of events around Central Florida, and so I just started my own event supply. So with T-shirts and all kinds of different decor items or whatever. So and this, I just started the T-shirt part, just being inspired by the spaces for the past 2 years, and I was like, well, let me do the Juneteenth thing, and so just want you guys to check it out if you need any apparel for Juneteenth, T-shirts, hats, mugs. Like Toter said, on the behalf of him, he's gonna donate two shirts. So if you guys feel comfortable, whoever you choose, DM me your address or wherever you would like to mail it to. So whoever gets selected, just let me know.
Yeah, that's right. The shirts are already been paid for, guys. So you're gonna have to as the space goes on, I'll tell you guys how you can be eligible to get one. So for those that that do actually get it, you're gonna need to DM Tata. If you're not following her, well, you can DM her. Then you would have to go ahead and follow her as well too, and supply your address, and she will go ahead and she will ship those to you. So shout out to our sister Tata again, showing her entrepreneur spirit. Shout out to my man DJ up in this. Oh, I'm sorry, Tata. Go ahead.
I'll get to one more thing. And those who choose to get one, it's free shipping as well. So you use the discount code of June 19, and I'll ship it to you free. Okay, that's it.
All right, you can't beat that free shipping as well too, and the Juneteenth will be here before y'all know it as well too. So, like I say, shout out to our sister Tata. Shout out to DJ, he's up in the space as well. Aunt Liz up in here as well too. So shout out to her. Professor, go ahead. You got it. You there, Professor?
Yeah, I'm here. Shout out to everybody in the space. Sister Tata, shout out to you. Thank you so much for making these beautiful shirts.
Thank you, Professor.
Yes, and we definitely going to be advertising your business. So y'all definitely get in there, because I'm going to be looking to get me a Juneteenth shirt too. And also, I just want to say, y'all, for this whole reparations talk, as it continues to ramp up, you're going to hear more of these outliers coming out with articles to try to do anything they can to discredit this movement, to throw monkey wrenches into this movement, because they just don't want Black Americans to gain any kind of income that could put us right next to them. Because that's what this is all about, y'all. They don't want other groups, particularly Black Americans, to have that money. Because once we get these reparations, that puts us right in the wealth gap, or I should say, it closes the wealth gap that we have in the country right now, which is, oh my God, it's astronomical what white people are versus, well, hell, really everybody else. And of course, us, when it comes to Black Americans, we are at the bottom. So we got to continue to fight for this movement, and this is all about our movement. Everybody else, if you got something you need to argue with the government about, you go and file it on your own claim. Make your own claim. Don't file it on Black Americans' claim. Or Black Americans' This is about our movement. Everybody else, take your fight up with your own government, wherever the hell you coming from, or wherever you have come from. Take it to France, take it to whatever. But this is about Black American here in the United States of America, the land that our ancestors built. This is about our struggles. Everybody else, take it somewhere else. These articles, they're gonna be putting more and more of these foolish articles out here to throw everybody off. We don't need to listen to it. I mean, it's good for talking points, but we're not going to let any article stop us from what we're trying to do here. So I want everybody to stay uplifted, encouraged, continue to move forward with what we're trying to do here. Support Sister Tata. And let's go out here and get our money, man. Let's get this money that is due to the ancestors. They look. We got people that have died here. A lot of our people have passed on that never got a chance to even get close to this money. Okay, so we got to keep this thing going. And I know Tata mentioned her grandmother, 95. See, my grandmother passed away 2 years ago at the age of 93. It ticks me off when I think about a lot of the older Black Americans who have passed on that didn't get anything in this country. And this country owed them, man. I'm going to land right there.
Real talk, Professor. Mine, she was 89. She didn't quite make it to 90. So I definitely feel you for the older generation that went by and didn't get a chance. You definitely we're definitely trying to go ahead and get it for us and the older ones that's here right now and the future generations as well too. So definitely. Damn, what was I gonna say? Something just let me read this comment real quick. And you guys that want to speak, go ahead and raise your hand. Re-Rod, get to you, sister. This is from Nightfall. Shout out to my man Nightfall, one of our supporters over there on YouTube always. And Nightfall makes his way over here to Twitter as well too. He says, also, everyone in the world can claim 1% Blackness, as all humans have some African ancestry in their blood, as Africa is a cradle of humanity. Like, yeah, damn right. They sitting up here talking about at least what are you talking about? At least 3.5% of the white, or 5% of the Californians have at least 1% of African ancestry. Like, okay, and so what? What does 1% mean? 1% don't mean you Black. 1% don't mean anything. So we may have to actually get it to the point where we may have to, and I know this will piss a lot of people off. We may have to look down the road. I know people were saying that, hey, you have to claim on your paperwork that I think that you've been Black for the past 10 years or 20 years or whatever it is. But you may also have to have a certain percentage. If you under a certain threshold, I'm sorry, you just can't get it. If you got 1 to 10% of Black blood in you, I'm sorry, that's not enough. I'm just being honest. That's not enough. I know people might talk about the octoroon, the quadroon, and the mimiloon and all that other stuff. But if you ain't got enough, if you ain't got a certain amount of it in you, then hey, I'm sorry, you just missed the bus straight up. Re-Rod, what's going on with you tonight, sister?
Shout out to you and the co-host. What's up, brothers? And the fam, of course. I just wanted to touch on a couple of things really quickly. First and foremost, white people receiving reparations in California for 1%. I mean, they have 1% Black blood. They were talking constantly, how are you going to prove that you're a descendant? How are you going to prove that you're a descendant? How the hell are they going to prove that they have 1%? And the other thing was, maybe, just maybe, we might get them now. Because, they have to be involved in anything, in everything, especially when it comes to money. So this 5%, they'll probably be able to really work it and really lobby it and really get it going. I don't know, but I just know that with them, they're not going to co-sign anything unless they have a way of getting something out of it. And I'll land there.
Thank you. I see Moku up here. Moku, when I saw that profile picture, I was like, at first, I'm like, who in the hell is that coming up in here? Like, that's a crazy profile picture. When I first saw it, I'm like, damn, we must got a troll up in here. And then I look close, I'm like, oh, that's Moku up here. But shout out to Moku. I see him up in the space. Moku, you up here? You want to say something?
of all, thanks for letting me speak. Second, I want to say what you're going to do. What you're going to do. You got white people talking about they got 1% ancestry. Yeah, that's because you're grateful.
Moku, I know you driving. You got the headset on, don't you? Okay. Yeah, it was kind of hard, but shout out to Moku for his contribution on Cash App as well too. Moku, when you get a chance to get it, because it was kind of hard to hit with that headset on, come back up here. LaShawn on YouTube makes a great she made a great comment. She says, for some Native American tribes, you have to meet a certain blood quantum level to even qualify to be able to register under their tribe. And like I say, guys, that may be what this thing is going to, because like I said earlier, before a lot of you guys got in here before I actually went live on YouTube, don't think that this is only going to be an issue with white people. You're gonna have Asians, you're gonna have Latinos, you're gonna have other groups as well too. Going to say, you know what? I also have an ancestor that was in chattel slavery in this country as well too. So I'm owed it as well too. So it's not going to be, the bulk of the people saying are going to be white people, but you're going to have a bunch. We know, especially, you're going to have a bunch of Latinos and stuff up in here saying the same thing, and have Asians. You're going to have a whole bunch of people coming here saying, you know what, I'm owed that as well too. I should get it, and I should get this too. And my great grandma was a slave in Mississippi and stuff like that. People who never have identified as black, people who've been ashamed, and they've done everything they could to hide any black ancestor they had, any black relative. They pushed them in the closet. They changed paperwork up. They changed everything they could or whatever. Disowned family and everything else. And all of a sudden, when the money's on the table, they're gonna be like James Brown, black and proud. So we got to look into this really, really heavy, really serious. Like I said a number of our people. Shout out to Trouble too. I know Trouble. If you get a chance, you're gonna come up here. Moku, let's see if your audio better. But go ahead, you got it.
Yeah, is that a little bit better?
Oh yeah, that's better.
Okay, yeah. So I was just basically saying that most of them got that ancestry in them from their ancestors that raped our ancestors. You know, that's what that's what that was about.
Yeah, facts. For the most part, facts. Let me ask you guys up in the question up in here, and like I said tonight, guys, we're gonna give away a couple T-shirts, free shipping and everything. Juneteenth T-shirts, courtesy of Miss Tata and her business. So we're gonna be doing that here shortly as well too. I'll tell you guys how you can have a chance to get those. Like I say, once you have been nominated to actually get those shirts, you would need to contact Tata. If you're not following her, you would need to follow her on Twitter and DM her your actual shipping details, where she can actually ship the actual shirts to you. The shirts are free. So you don't have to worry about paying for anything. You don't have to worry about paying for shipping either. She's going to go ahead and she's going to take care of all of that for you. So once again, shout out to our sister Tata. But real quick, DJ, what's up, man? I don't know if I know you be doing 2-3 things at one time. You up in the space? Okay, DJ might be. What's going on with you tonight, man? What's up with you? I know you didn't catch the discussion quite from the beginning. You might have been. I don't know if you was in the space or you was on YouTube or not.
I got kicked out like 5 times, man. Phone restarting and everything restarting in the studio, whatever, computer, everything. So I had to restart the phone. Update. What's good, though, family? Nothing
too much, man. We're just discussing this topic, and like I said, what's your? And I know you really didn't hear much of it, but you're just talking about the situation where you got up in California where you're starting to have that. They're talking about at least 5% of Californians have at least 1% of African ancestry. And, even people talk about it may be entirely possible that white people could claim the bulk of the reparations. And I'm trying to figure out, what did they come up with this scenario? How did they get to this math right here? How in the hell is that even possible that white people in California, if they did do the actual state level reparations out there, how can they claim more of it than black people? How is that even possible? What are we talking about here?
Well, here's the thing. It's not possible because according to California Reparations Task Force Commission, you having a one-drop rule don't meet the eligibility requirements to obtain reparations by lineage, basically. And shout out to Javon Scott Lewis. He was the deciding factor, or vote rather, to make reparations lineage based in California. So shout out to that Jamaican brother right there. You know what I mean? So with that being said, that's still not enough criteria. You have to have been voting and identifying as Black American, African American for the last decade as well. Medical records, census, school records, college application, business loan, whatever it is. You know what I mean? You want to see it, you know what I mean, to make sure, hey, yeah, you are of the lineage. So we already know folks that come over here, non-Black American, that are melanated, they not a part of the lineage like that. So therefore, meaning you want to be eligible in any shape, size, or form. So this is the main reason for a lot of the diaspora recent beefs or issues we've been having, because they know once we get that bread, we already don't need you as is. So imagine how it's really going to be. You know what I mean? And then we come up here online thinking we all supposed to be on the court, you know, Pan-Africanism, right? You know, Marcus Garvey gang, you know what I mean? But y'all showing us vitriol, hate, and all this other stuff. So it's like, now we got to separate, delineate. So shout out to California, AB 3121. That's the legislation out there in Cali, y'all. AB 3121. If you want to know this information, go over to the Reparationist Perspective on ScrewTube, aka YouTube. The Reparationist Perspective. She has 300 videos over there, specifically speaking on reparations with Black American Negro freedmen. And it's anywhere from 2 hours to 10 hours of video over there. And she also has majority of the California Reparations Task Force Commission hearings on her YouTube channel as well. So shout out to our sister, the Reparations. There you go.
And real quick, guys, I'm going to go ahead and say the first two people to go ahead in the actual comment section here for the actual space and hashtag reparations will get the t-shirt. So the first two, we're giving the first two people to go ahead and put in the actual bubble, the actual comment section for this actual space, put hashtag reparations will be the actual winners of the actual two t-shirts, free t-shirts. Did we get somebody to put it in there?
Oh yeah, that was me. Co-host. Am I eligible?
No, the co-host not eligible. co-host not eligible. So the first two people, y'all put a hashtag reparation. Trouble and Original are the first two people. Trouble and Original. Congratulations to Trouble and Original. So Trouble Original, I know y'all following Tata, so go ahead and DM Tata your shipping details, and she will be shipping off your Juneteenth t-shirts to you guys. So shout out to Original and Trouble, and shout out to Miss Tata as well too. So there we go, people. Let me go ahead and get to a Woke AF. You had your hand up, and then we get to you, Brother Moku.
I just wanted to ask real quick, why only a decade? Only identifying for a decade. I would think the requirement would be.
I think you should. I think you should have to for your entire life. That's how I feel. I don't even think it should be a decade. I don't think it should be 20 years. Right. I think because none of us in here for say, the last 10 years I've been Black, or the last 15 or 20 years. No. We was born Black and we gonna die Black. So you also should be Black your entire damn life as well too. Not no 5 years or no 10 years or a few years, but you should be Black your entire life as well too. Let's go.
I wanted to say real quick, I'm sorry, before I leave. Original and Trouble, you get to select which one or which color that you want. So let me know. That's all. Thank you, Soda.
You're welcome, Tata. So once again, shout out to Trouble and shout out to Original. Moku's this. I see he must be falling up down. So
I was going to say, till you come back, just let me answer what AF.
Go ahead.
So the reason why it's only 10 years because we already have information that most Africans don't even have a birth certificate. So that eliminates 90% of the people right there. More like 95% at this point. You know what I mean? The other thing is too, other diasporan folks never really had a category of their own, so they selected Black by default. You see what I'm saying? But they are other. So that right there is a problem. So thank God for the delineation part of saying it's just reparations is lineage based in California. So other thing is too, you have write-in boxes on applications, medical jobs, census, whatever. you can still write in what it is you need to write in as far as your ethnicity, country of origin, woo-de-woo, you know what I mean? And 10 years, a decade, is you know, that could be a generation or a lifetime to some folks, you know what I'm saying? Where things can change so much in a decade, you don't even recognize what you've done in the last decade. You know what I'm saying? Can you even think what you did a decade ago on this day? You know what I'm saying? Nah, it ain't happening that way. So it's like, the other thing is too, you know, this is why you see a lot of folks that are native folks, indigenous native tribal folks, you know, Gullah Geechee or some type of Seminole type native Indian, you know what I mean? They are being excommunicated from the tribe now because of the reparations conversation. So that's something a lot of folks ain't been paying attention to either as well. So how's that? And I think we spoke about this when we had that space, that Native American woman saying black people are attacking the tribesmen up there in the mountains or whatever. I think it was Virginia. So to make a long story short, they're being excommunicated, and their chief, which is a white guy, is saying that you know, they don't have any type of heritage or lineage here. They were adopted into the tribe. But if you've been adopted into a tribe for the last 125, 30, 40, 50 years, you pretty much just a part of that tribe. So the federal government is keep giving these tribes federal dollars for whatever treaty they already have. And this is why a lot of, you know, got my fingers up natives, because I just think that word is weird. And who are these people? You know what I'm saying? You never see them fighting for no civil rights, nothing, never coming out. But you just don't see these people. You know what I mean? So, yeah, everybody here is the Native American. There you go. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, the Native Americans that are on reservations, they got treaties already. This is why they got casinos, and they get residual income, almost like in the form of UBI, off those casinos. So this is how they're able to live. And it's not all all Native Americans, Indians, or whatever. It's not all of them. It's only certain tribes, certain treaties was able to make a deal, rather. That's pretty much what it is. You know, because you're being colonized, so you got to make a deal. Otherwise, we're going to exterminate the rest of y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I was going to make this deal for X amount of land treaty, and we're going to repatriate you, aka migrate you to another part of the country, so that way you're out off the East Coast in the 13 colonies. Go ahead.
Hey, you said something that kind of, and I wanted to ask you about it. You said when we were talking about she was talking about the actual time period of why wasn't it longer than 10 years or 20, whatever it was or whatever. And you said something about because like 99% of Africans don't have birth certificate. I wasn't really sure, like exactly like how did that like kind of work into the actual conversation?
Yeah, I had that question still too. Yeah.
Right. Well, they don't have birth certificates where they come from, and considering them, you know, obviously we see a lot of them coming over here. Who are you? Let's start there. With most Africans, guess what their birthday is? January the 1st. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's not March 9th like mine is, in case you're thinking about getting me something next year. You know what I'm saying? You want to give me something now because it don't pass, but you know it's all good. Go ahead and start the cash.
But we know. Yeah, but we know the Africans, you know, for the most part, they wouldn't. I mean, the Africans are, for the most part, unless they married a Black American woman and had a child or something like, they wouldn't qualify for it anyway. So that's why I just was kind of like.
Well, even with that being said, you know, this is the other argument too about the half and a half, the mulattoes. A lot of our folks that are full Black American feel that some of the mulattoes shouldn't get it done. You know, the Drakes. You know, the Drakes.
Well, I think mulattoes, because even mulattoes was going to get something had they actually went ahead and done what they were supposed to do and taken Sherman's advice. You would have had mulattoes along with Black people would have got actual reparations back then. So I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with you know, with because a mulatto, their ancestor is going to go back to chattel slavery. So I don't have. Now I have an issue if you like 15%, you got 15% Black in you, and you saying, well, you know what, I should go ahead and get it. Like, wait a minute, hold on. You got. I think if I think it has to have some kind of threshold where it has to have a cutoff that, hey, man, I mean, you can't really, if you talk about you 10% Black or whatever, are you really a Black person? You know, I mean, you're not even really biracial. You're not even biracial.
Is this Michael Jackson Kids Black?
Now that's a different story. That's a different.
There you go. Then that's the answer. It's the same story actually. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these folks are cosplaying, saying that they are 10%, whatever, 5%, whatever. You ain't never said like anything until the reparations conversation came up. Go ahead, Professor. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, don't that throw in Rachel Dolezal, the woman that was cosplaying a black woman?
She was just see, you know what I'm saying? Stay on cold. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, you gotta think about the white folks right there, the ones that be.
I said we got we got.
There's a line now. I really love you guys, but I'm not gonna do all that.
Support Sister Rachel now. You know what I'm saying? That's all. You want to be black? Come on over to the club. That's all good.
I said we got a rich. Let's let Original go ahead and speak. What's up, Original?
Hey, peace, Black American power, and lineage-based reparation. FBA, Negro, Freedman, ADOS, whatever you want to call yourself. But no, these people. This is what the world has become accustomed to, is that they feel like they can always attach themselves to us. It's kind of like what's going on with this Palestine-Israel issue. People are wondering why we are not getting involved in it, because both sides are anti-black racist. So it's like, okay, we know what you'll get down here. And so now you're seeing these people, especially these people that's not melanated. Y'all remember that movie, that series Queen with Halle Berry? And
yep.
In the middle of the movie, she said, "Hush, nigger, hush, nigger."
That's because she was the master's child. But yeah.
Right, but she saw how they treated her when they saw that her mother was octoroon, whatever the hell they want to make it up as. But she came back. Who did she come back to? She came back to black folks, and it was the black folks that took care of her. So that's what these people are trying to do now, and they're gonna think. See, like when the Indians got reparations back in the 90s, the Indians have received reparations, but when they got it back in the 90s, they kicked all the black folks out of those tribes, and it was done primarily by these white folks that these so-called Indians allow it up in their tribe. Because there was an article, it was an expose conducted by the LA Times. And the title of it is Claiming to be Cherokee with White Ancestry. Everyone should go and read that expose if they still have it online. But I think I do have that archived on my drive. But it's called Claiming to be Cherokee with White Ancestry. So basically what it is these white folks who are claiming to be Cherokee, but they just white folks. And they're getting all these government money every year, this, that, and whatever. And they're getting like multi-million-dollars per year because they're claiming to be Cherokee. And like I said, people need to get that book. 19 white men who said they saw indigenous black folks here when they got here. And so people need to understand that, because see, there was that station out of D.C. that Sister No Taxation heard me on. And so years ago, this guy who's, I don't know what kind of Indian he was, but he came on that station trying to get, the black community to support them in some land they claim that they own, but being that you're not the indigenous people, you ain't got no claim to the land. But then, so nobody was saying anything, including the host. So I called in. I said, wait a minute. I said, you want us to help you, but y'all kicked all the black folks out of the tribe, and said that they were not a part of you. So now you want us to come and help you? I said, oh, no, we ain't, and it went downhill from there. See, it only takes one person to make that statement, and other people said, oh, because see, a lot of people don't want to be the first one to say that, but see, I don't care. When it comes down to defending Black America, FBA, Freedman, Negro, ADOS, I don't mind being that first person to put it out there, because right is right. They don't want anything to do with us. Everybody comes to us for support, but when we need support, everybody's thinking about if they can't figure out how to fit themselves into this, they don't want anything to do with it, and that's just basically what it is. But these people, you're gonna have this where these people are gonna be claiming that they think no, the one drop rule don't work. That's not scientific, okay? And no, and if you never been living as a black person, you're gonna have to prove because he would not allow these so-called leaders and elected officials to make this decision. They don't have anything to do with this because they've already showed us who they are not anyway. And for the most part, they are not with us. And that's just being real with us. So I just want everybody to know that people will be watching this. And for all y'all whites and others who think they can come up and say, well, I never claimed myself as being black, but my great no, I'm not sorry. I'm not gonna say I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. See, I quit saying I'm sorry. But I tell people, oh no, I'm not sorry, but this does not include you. So go find you somebody else to sponge up of, because this is why they created that term minority. Then they come with people of color. So when they use that ambiguous language, what they're doing is attaching other people to our pain and suffering. And my position is, you didn't suffer this with us. You're not suffering it with us now. So move somewhere else. This is not for you. See, that's how everybody else, they circle their wagon. As Dr. Paul Anderson said, we have to circle our wagons around ourselves. And so we just have to move forward. But no, we will keep. If I got to go to each state raising hell, I ain't got no problem doing that. But no, this is not for you. Because see, white folk were already planning to do something to see what they can get out of it for themselves. But no, if you ain't, if your hair, I'll give you a perfect example. And I'm gonna land after this. See, when I worked at McDonnell Douglas in Long Beach, this guy had made a comment, said to me that I had bad hair. And so what I did, I went home that night. I said to him, I said, I'll get you tomorrow. I'm gonna show you who had bad hair. So I went home, I washed my hair, put some grease on it, put on a stocking cap, and then, by the time I got up in the morning, it was magic. My hair was all slicked down to the head. So I went to work, everybody was like, oh, Reginald, your hair looks nice. That looks really nice. You got a haircut, so yeah. And so what I did is, I'm not making these folks look bad. But before I came back from lunch, I went into the restroom, kicked my hair out, back into an afro. Then they said, I thought you had gotten a haircut. I said, well, you know what? This is what you can do when you have good hair. Can y'all do this? I'm going to land on that.
All right. That's what's up, Original. So he put on a stocking cap. And he put in that Duke in that hair and whatnot and brushed it down and laid it down. That's what I'm talking about, Original.
Good one, man.
Hey, we got my girl Trouble up here. Trouble, what's going on tonight? How you doing?
Shout out to everybody in the room.
What's up?
It's the Original with that fried dye laid to the side, slick back he had going on up in the cut. I hope everybody is doing well. As far as the people qualifying for slavery, I've already anticipated that, and I think we all have to a certain degree. I think we've had a lot of people, even in the past, who started, of our own people, who was able to pass for white. Even though there was laws against passing for white, you still had people who was willing to risk it all to still, pass. And so a lot of women and men, got with, the white folks and was able to pass into that world. And because of being able to pass, they were treated better and got better things. And so once they got with their white mate, they started having children and hope like hell it didn't revert back to the generations of the Negro blood in them and they came out white, or whitish looking and pretty much screwed all the melanin out of them. And so, of course, we're going to have some white folks that actually have a lineage of Negro blood in there. But then that's also why we need to have metrics set in place so that not any and everybody can qualify for said reparations. I don't know if saying, okay, well, you have to have been claimed to have been a Negro all your life is just the only metric we can have, because we have the Rachel Dolezals who have been claiming to be black, and Deshaun Malcolm Texas, Talcum X's or whatever.
The Mac Gang.
I done butchered that boy's name, but you know who I'm talking about, who just, want to be black for some reason. They want to be black and insert themselves into black life. So I'm not sure if, because you can't, because you're not getting ready to give up my blood to say that I have Negroes. America know who their Negroes are. They know who we are. And even the white passing people, you should have the same test that we have as far as going back into your lineage and looking at your ancestors. If your last couple ancestors were claimed to have been white, then you are white. If you had one or two, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 generations ago, and there was some strong Negroes there, then okay, maybe you might have a case. But if your last 3 generations of relatives were white, then you have no Negro blood in you. And so there has to be, some metrics put in place so that not all of these whites, Asians, and Hispanics, because Hispanic people, especially those who come from Cuba, love to tell you, oh, my abuela was black. And okay, but your abuela wasn't a Negro black. Black is, there's all kind of different flavors of black, baby, but was it Negro black? And so if they actually have that in their blood, Negro wise, then maybe they should get it, and hopefully it won't be that many of them that do. Let's start with the Negroes first, though. Let's start with the Negroes we know are Negroes, and then, work our way back around to everybody else. And I know that's not how it works, but, there's definitely got to be metrics, strong metrics set in place, metrics that are not going to knock us out of the box, because we're going to have some of our own people who were adopted, who don't know who the people in their lineage is, who their actual real family is. And so we need to make sure that there are metrics in place so that they can qualify for what they rightfully deserve to. So there's going to have to be layers of different metrics for qualifications. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Just wanted to add that little tad bit. I wasn't here for the whole conversation, so I'm not sure if that was already stated, but shucks. I said it again if it was said already, and I stand on it. So hopefully everybody is having a good night. Much love to everybody. I'm on vacation for the week, y'all. I'm on vacation. So.
Oh, don't rub it in. Don't rub it in.
I'm rubbing it in. I need this vacation. I have been working hard and hardly working at the same time. I need this little vacation. I ain't going to lie to you. So much love to y'all. Have a good night.
All right. Thank you, Trouble. And enjoy yourself on vacation, too. Definitely enjoy yourself. Glad to hear from you tonight. I see we got a speaker. Hell no, I'm not African. I know you up here. You haven't raised your hand. Did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I just want to say that according to what they said on the paper, is there's no way they can prove that someone has 1% black blood, or that's not possible. So that's just talk, I guess. But it's not. How do you prove someone has any percentage of black blood? You can't.
So you're saying you can't prove that even black? You're saying that you can't prove that anybody has black blood, or just the white people?
What is black blood?
You're saying what is black blood?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I guess they're talking about people that they would consider African American, those are chattel slaves. I mean, Negro.
Come on, bro. I mean,
So you can't prove you can't. So you saying that you don't believe in DNA is what you're saying?
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it. The DNA people are saying it. You can talk to any you can call 23andMe and have a conversation with them and ask them. They'll tell you themselves.
Okay, so how do you I mean, so in terms of
about the family tree and the yeah, it might not be a DNA test, but it's a family tree. But then how do you capture people who don't have documentation?
No, in that letter it said you have to have a certain percentage of some kind of blood, right?
well, not in the article I read. It didn't say you had to have a percentage, but it was saying that they were saying that at least 5% of white Californians have at least 1% African ancestry, is what they're saying.
Yeah, that right there. That there's no way they can prove that.
Okay.
So that right, there's no way. It's not possible.
I think what he's saying is there is no DNA that's a color. You can't, if you find a random sample of a skull and test it.
Well, they didn't use black though. They didn't use black. They said African ancestry. So they didn't say black.
That's what I'm saying. DNA test, and you can call the DNA all of them and talk to. They'll tell you. How I know is because someone called and talked to the people that listen. They cannot. DNA tests are like something you get at a fair or a souvenir shop. It's just something you hang on the wall for, excuse my language, for shits and giggles.
Okay, try not to curse, but go ahead.
I'm sorry.
You good?
But you can call and ask for yourselves. They'll tell you.
Hell no. Can I ask you a question? First, I'm gonna say this to you. What you saying is a hell no. But anyway, but let me say this to you, brother. I want to take you. But
Can I ask why are you saying this a hell no?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm about to answer you with a question.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm gonna take you back to the O.J. Simpson trial. Now, in that trial, do you remember them talking about DNA? Right, it's DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what did they say about that DNA in that trial? They mentioned what group? African Americans. They said that it was an African American that killed Nicole Brown Simpson. That's exactly what they said in that trial when they came back with them DNA results, right?
I'm gonna say this and I'm done. Listen, seriously, if you want to know if DNA is possible, I suggest that you call 23andMe and all the rest and talk to the people and ask for yourselves. Please.
So what about when they do the DNA test with babies and stuff to find out who the father is?
That DNA test can prove who's the parent of a child, right? And if a criminal commits a crime and leaves his DNA on the scene, they can match that DNA. That is 100% possible and true. But with that child, they have both the blood from the child and the parent to match the two. Same with the criminal. If he leaves his blood on the scene, that's possible.
But what you're saying is more towards the race part. I think it's kind of getting convoluted there.
So you're saying that white people in this country, they can't do DNA on them and find out that they may have family that came from France or Spain or Poland, anything like that? Is what you're saying too?
Absolutely not.
So they could. So.
No, wait. I'm not saying
Hell no.
You know what's funny? No, I'm keeping respect. But listen, I'm not saying it. Like I said, I was around some people that wanted to know, right? So they themselves took the effort to find out, and they called, and it will tell you it's not. It's call and look for yourself. Oh, Christ. I mean, wow. So how do they do it? Where do they get the DNA, right? So you have to have a DNA to compare it to. Where does that come from? They just can't take your blood and say, hey, all right, it's African blood. And what is African blood? What is African blood?
That's the part he's talking about.
It's
Okay.
not possible.
Well, hell, no one came in here and just threw genetics all out.
Yeah, he did.
Listen, you can call. Listen.
No black.
This is a space for content, right? So this can be your content. One day, you have a space and call and talk to a geneticist. There it is, right there.
I was literally just thinking that it would be an interesting call to be on the space.
All right. Well, I mean, hey, you know, it is what it is. Hell no. I definitely appreciate you coming up here. I want you to stay up here too. We're gonna move it to the speakers, some other speakers, but we're gonna get back to you. I see Brother Moku is going down. So Original, you go ahead and unmute your mic, and then hopefully Brother Moku will come back up here.
Yeah, what I want to say is this now. I know they say some, these DNA tests can be sketchy, and I understand that. But at the same time, what's this boy name? He's an agent, Henry Gates. Now, according to Henry, and he said he did a DNA test. He said I think he was 56% white. So I want to know. So how is he determined? I wonder how his DNA test determined that he had 56% white blood? Because see, people like Henry, they've never been an out. Even though he was his I think his mother and father were Garveyites, if I remember correctly. Because I remember one time he came to Los Angeles and he had made some comments, and the community gave him a beautiful gift because he's married to a white girl. He received it was wrapped very beautifully with a box of Oreo cookies and a Barbie doll. So I'm not going to tell you who gave it to him. But anyway, so there are, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think there are some certain characteristics within the blood of people of different ethnic groups where you can kind of distinguish certain people have certain identifiers in blood itself that can distinguish people, like what Professor said earlier about when they with the OJ trial, they said it was the blood of an African American, and then Johnny Carpenter just blew everything out of the water because he found different things where they planted evidence or whatever. But the issue still is that this will either prove that DNA test is fact or is fiction, and I can't wait for it to happen. And I land.
All right, thank you. Original, real quick, guys. Up in the Jumbotron, we have the Newstoter membership. The Newstoter membership. We're trying to go ahead. I think we may got 1 or 2 people to sign up this month. It's on the right-hand side. The third on the right. We're trying to get more people to sign up. So if you can, go ahead. For as little as $1.75, you can contribute to the Newstoter.com platform and support us financially for as little as $1.75 a month. For those that cannot do that, we do have the Cash App available, $Newstoter, $Newstoter. Newstoter is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Support Newstoter.com, a Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform. Also, for those that don't have Cash App, we have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron. Same thing with people on YouTube. We have the Newstoter.com customer portal right on the actual screen. You can go ahead and click that. Go and become a contributor to the platform for as little as $1.75 a month. If not, you can support us on Cash App as well. $Newstoter, $Newstoter. We got one person, Brother Moku, to support us tonight. Let's see if we can get a couple other people to support the Newstoter.com platform. Make sure you visit Newstoter.com to stay up to date on breaking Black news in Black America, because we can't tweet it all out. So we need you guys to go to the actual site and support the actual site that way with your traffic as well too. So support newstoter.com, and we will continue to try to put out great content as always. So definitely support us. We need that support. Anybody has $1 that you can donate to the platform. We're not trying to break the bank. If you got $1, think about supporting us that way. If you can't afford $1.75 a month, think about joining the actual platform. It takes less than a minute to create a profile on the actual site. Let me go ahead and I'm going to get to you, Brother Moku, but let me get to Black Majority State. Black, what's going on with you tonight?
Hello. How is everybody doing this evening?
Hey, what's up now?
All right. What's up, DJ? What's up, Professor? So I'm gonna come in defense of the brother. Hell no, because he's actually more accurate than not. So to the title of the space, 5% of white Cali represents could qualify for slavery. I had this conversation. I can't even at least a dozen times in DMs with some of the leading people in the reparations movement. We talked about using DNA as a qualifier. They didn't want to go anywhere near that, to be quite honest. And so we talked about these white people that would be attached to the lineage. They really didn't want to talk about that. Adding that you must be black for 12 years creates a racial qualifier. No one really wants to talk about how that could actually be unconstitutional when you put this racial qualifier in front of it. But I came up to talk about DNA. So he's right. When a father and a mother get together, they have a child. And I explained this in another space recently. The way that old computers used to have to defragment the hard drive, this is what the DNA does. You don't get a 50-50 mix. It's very random, but I'm sure God put in the design to make it the way he wants it to be. But you get a certain percentage of the mother, a certain percentage of the father. When that child goes and has offspring, the original parents, it's not 25% as we would think. You think 50%, 25%. No, what ends up happening is it defragments again, and then you get a whole nother percentage or whatever. By the time you get to the fourth or fifth generation, that offspring, which would be like the great-great-grandchild of the original parents, will not have a genetic DNA match to their great-great-great-great-grandparents. This is actually how DNA works. Now, when it comes to these they're for entertainment purposes only, African me, 21-3me, whatever. They've done lizards, they've done dogs, they all come back as humans. People have been testing these things over the years, so you can find those videos too. What they do is they say, and I think it was the Global Genome Project, which was like in the 90s or 2000s or something like that. They went over there, they got a bunch of samples, and they match everybody in that region to those samples. That doesn't mean that wherever that sample is, that a person who's in America and matches up with that sample is actually from that area, because 300, 400, whatever, how many years ago, those people may not have been the people that were actually in that area, because we're always migrating all over the place. The things that they do have are called genetic markers or haplogroups. And this is where, and I know this for a fact when it comes to these, the small hat people, they have a specific marker that they use
All right, thank you, Black. I want to say real quick, guys. I don't want to go too far down the DNA thing, because that could be a conversation for another night. I do want to stick to just basically the reparations, and the lineage base and everything dealing with that. So I don't want to go too far down the because that's not really my expertise either with the actual DNA and that type of stuff as well too. So I want to go ahead and try to center it back around California, the reparations, and not only California, but in terms of nationwide, in terms of white people and other groups of people out there as well, would kind of claim that they could have on the actual reparations itself as well too. Because Trouble made a good point. You have a lot of Latinos, especially from the Caribbean, that say, well, I got a black ancestor, this and that or whatever, and then even though they don't claim black the whole time, but when it's convenient, they'll say I got a black ancestor, this and that. So I want to kind of try to center it back around, and I want to get you guys' opinion on that, and I want to hear what you guys got to say about the potential that the article is talking about, that potential that you could have even more white people claiming the bulk of reparations in California, which I find impossible as compared to black people. So let me go ahead and get to Brother Moku, and anybody else that wants to speak as well too. Feel free to come on up here and speak, guys. Go ahead, Brother Moku.
You can give me a chance to get off the train. Probably about 2 minutes.
Okay, we'll come back to you. I see Trouble's got a hand up. Trouble, go ahead. You got it.
Hey, so I know California's got a large mixture of people from all over the place. So it is weird to me. It's weird and it's not weird, but it's weird to me that they're saying that more white folks qualify for reparations out there than black folks, and I'm not sure if that's maybe because the black folks that's out there in California have came from different parts of the world per se. Because right about now, as far as who can live in California, certain parts of California, because it's become so expensive out there. Who all are there? Are they counting? Are they counting the people who are living in? I'm not sure what that place is called. I've heard it called before, like the Quad Cities or the homeless population. Are they counting them? Because there's a whole lot of those folks over there. But to say that white folks, there's more white folks, it sounds like some fuckery. I'll try not to cuss. I'll say some fuckery to me. And when it comes to there being money out there, white folks always find a way to insert themselves and make sure that their group is able to capitalize on that, on it. I think I Am Money was saying when I first came into the group about the natives. That's what they did with the natives. They all started claiming that ancestry, and because I guess like the brother Hell No was saying, as far as DNA, you can't really say,
DNA wise, I'm not this or I'm not that, and they did it so long ago till, and it's weird because we all know that they paid $5 to become people that they weren't. But again, and I'm just talking to Muko get straight, but it is weird to me. But one thing we always know is that white folks always find a way to center themselves, and they always find a way to get paid off of black bodies, black anything. They find a way to get paid, and so what we have to do is find a way for them not to get paid. That's part of the assignment. Part of the assignment is making it so that it makes it difficult for that 5% to get paid. So we have to advocate, or those in California have to start advocating and making a lot of noise about, the metrics concerned. Brother Moo, much love to you, Brother Muko.
Hey, what's going on, sis? Trouble. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say, I kind of second what Hell No and Black Majority State says, and I'll just make it simple without even going down the rabbit hole. I've been in many places. I've been in the military. I've bled and seen white people bleed beside me. Blood looks the same, y'all. I can't tell the difference. I think that is a confusionary tactic that white supremacy runs on the victims of racism, white supremacy, majority the black ones, because we refuse to even learn or deal with evidence. We rather get into our feelings. You know what I'm saying? I think this whole thing is a myth as far as percentages. When I hear somebody talk about, I'm 13% Irish, I just look at them like they stupid. Because you can't tell me, if you can't even tell me and honestly look at yourself and claim any part of yourself to be yours only. Because if your father didn't make the deposit into your mom, you wouldn't even be here. So no part of me belongs to me because it came from the person, my father. And his blood don't even belong to him because it came from his father. So I think we need to stop dealing with our feelings when we hear triggering things like this, especially when it's put out by the white supremacist media. To put out some shit like this, white people even claiming reparations. I mean, I can't even understand why we're not even automatically equating this to $5 Indian shit. I mean, stuff, excuse me.
Yeah, language, yeah.
This is the same thing they ran on the Indians. So, this is a play that they already ran before. I think it's played out personally. I don't think we should give it any other energy other than batting it down, like calling it what it is, BS.
Real talk. Appreciate that. I see we got Reroute back up. Anybody wants to speak, raise your hand. I do want to know, what do you guys think? Like I said, with anything else, and like I said, without getting into the DNA thing too much, but what's the general consensus in terms of the whole reparation thing, in terms of the actual I guess you could say the percentages. I mean, what level of blackness do you have to be at in order? And I know people say, well, it's not about race and this and that or whatever, but yeah, it's not about race, it's about lineage. But let's be real here. The lineage of the people that are entitled to actual reparations are black people. So, you can't make things race-based in this country, but let's be honest here. The actual lineage of the people, the lineage of the only group of people that were ever slaves in America, and I'm not talking about the colonial United States of America, I'm talking about the actual United States of America, which became a nation in 1776, the only group of people in this country that have been actual slaves as a group of people. I'm not talking about people going to jail as individuals, as a group. were black people, and their lineage is that of the chattel slavery. So, what's the actual percentage in terms of actual? What do you think it needs to be? I know, like I say, I don't have an issue with anybody that's biracial getting it, but at what has to be the cutoff in terms of actual blackness? I mean, does somebody that's 4% black get reparations? Does somebody 20% black get reparations? What is the actual cutoff? What needs to be okay? That that bar is too low right there. We can't do it or whatever. I mean, and like Trouble said, we know that you've had black people that have been able to pass in this country. What's that?
Your phone going in and out.
Yeah, it's kind of going in and out there, total.
Okay, let me well, y'all go ahead and keep it. Let me see if I can try to straighten it real quick.
Was it broke? Well, go ahead.
No, I don't have input on that.
Let me see if I can fix this really quick.
I think that's when we.
Can you hear me now? Can y'all hear me? All right.
Yeah. So I think when we start talking percentages, that's playing into the white supremacist game. Because we just said there ain't no such thing as percentages. You either trace your lineage or you don't. I think we need to stop playing that percentage game because I think we really need to understand that anytime the word race is brought up, that's the crime. The crime is racism practiced by way of race classification.
Well, here's the only thing, brother. Here's the only thing, brother Moku, is that you're saying that there's no percentages of this and that or whatever, but at the same time, like the actual article says, what happens when you have regular blue-eyed blonde white folks coming up here, brunettes, redheads, and everything else, and you know what? Well, I had a great grandma that was a slave in South Carolina, so I'm entitled to exactly what brother Moku's getting.
And you tell them unless you can trace it, you're a lie.
Well, what if they can't trace it? What if they can't trace it?
If you can't trace it, then guess what? You SOL.
No, I said what? No, I said what? What if this white person with blonde hair, blue eyes, with red hair?
That go back to the 10 years. You ain't been identifying over the last decade. Don't matter if your great grandmother was Mama Jemima.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. We're talking about. Hold on, real quick. Here's the thing. We're talking about California. We're talking about California. But let's say federally, when this thing hits federal, that we don't know for certain if it's going to be the 10 years that you, and then like also what they say when you're talking about the black thing, you got to think about that too. If you haven't identified as black for they're saying, well, you're making this race based here. You're saying that you have to be to actually get these reparations. You also have to be black, which is race based.
You know that's what I'm trying to get to. That's the crime. See, classifying us as a race period is the crime. Okay, this is what we can't get around, and this is what we can't keep sugarcoating. We keep trying to complicate the situation. Like, what if? Bro, check it out. If your ancestors, and just like DJ said, you ain't been identifying as black, you've been identifying as white, and it ain't no crime been committed against you. What crime, Mr. Black Muko? The crime of race classification. Racism practiced on you by way of race classification. Well, I'm considered a white person. Yes, you are in charge of the race classifying. So you, even though you might didn't do it directly, your ancestors or whoever is in charge of the race classification, which isn't a non-white person, is white people.
But you still missing what I'm saying, Moku. I'm saying that even if you classify, okay, they're saying that you can't have any race-based laws, anything like that. So if you're saying that, hey, you know what? I proved that I got the actual lineage because here's a white lady telling you my great grandma goes back to Mississippi. I proved to you that, hey, just like all these black people in this country that has an actual ancestor of a chattel slavery, I have one too. So then you say, okay, well, then you have to go ahead and for the last 10 years identify as being black. Well, they're going to say, well, you know what? That's that. People say, well, you know that you're basing this on race now. This ain't about lineage. It's about race as well too. It's a mix between race and lineage.
And you're exactly right. But see, the part of race is the crime. See, we have to identify with the lineage, and that's why we're putting it lineage based. But you know, in the system of white supremacy, they have connected race to our lineage. Okay, that is the crime. That is the crime right there. That's all I'm saying, brother. See, the crime is racism, but racism, white supremacy is only can be practiced by way of race classification. If you have no race classification, you can't get racism practice on you. You can't. I mean, I would dare anybody to try it, but you can't, because we still have a system of racism in place. So, and when we have race classification, which is only in place to practice it.
So by what you're saying, so by what you're saying, that you do have to go ahead and you do have to use, even with the lineage, you are going to still have to use race as a determinant factor, right?
Not even just a determinant factor, but the evidence of the crime committed. See, it goes hand in hand. Why? Because the reparations is needed. The reparations is needed because a crime was committed. What crime, Brother Muko? The crime of classifying us as a race, whether it be freeman, Negro, slave, or whatever. That crime was committed.
It would be misclassification.
By way of race classification. Yeah.
Actually, the other thing, Total, that we got to throw in here, if these white folks are going to come forward with these claims, right, you're going to also have to admit your family or your ancestor was involved in raping black women. That is the crime. So that's the other thing to throw in there, too. What? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can put that in there, but
Yes.
Yeah, you can put that in there, but they're gonna say, well, you know what, we didn't have anything to do with that. We didn't have anything, so that's not our fault that happened. So yeah, listen, you got the whole thing. You got Thomas Jefferson. You got the whole thing with Thomas Jefferson and his kids and stuff like that. How does that really stick to Thomas Jefferson? It doesn't stick to him at all.
You was the master. You was the oppressor. You was the one that set the laws up in the country. You had people enslaved. So that means you don't get compensation off these reparation claims. That's what that means. Now you can sit here and say, well, I got a great so back then, but you've been living as a white person all this time, on top of the fact that so-called white ancestor went out there and raped a black female. So therefore you don't get the benefit off of a crime that was committed, okay? So that's
now. Let's look it up.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing right here. And here's the thing. Thomas Jefferson was the president of the United States. Thomas Jefferson had kids from black women and stuff. We know it wasn't consensual. Thomas Jefferson, I'm sure some of his descendants can damn near pass for white here. Do they get reparations? If Thomas Jefferson has a regular looking person in his family and that looks just like a regular white person, does that white person get reparations?
Okay, can I really say this really important thing really quick?
Go ahead, really quick.
Going beyond, I'm sure there's documentation of people that were freed, people that were enslaved, that were freed. Like, it gets complicated, and first of all, this is bullshit, the whole article, in terms of my take.
Try not to curse.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean, it's they want you to argue. It's white supremacists, trying to stir up the pot, right? So you have to flip it around. Great, thanks for the advertising for reparations. I don't know, but that's my take on it. I think it's bullshit. I think it's.
You gotta watch your language. Whoa, you gotta watch your language.
I think they're just, like I said, trying to stir the pot, and anyone who would think, I mean, it's laughable. 1% is laughable, and then on top of everything else that you said about.
But here's the thing right here too. I want to say that you gotta we talk about the $5 Indian thing, and here in Florida, I've seen people that are supposed to be part of the Seminole tribe look just like regular white people. Okay, and they're getting the benefits that the Seminoles were getting stuff in this state here. So here's my thing right here. Are you going to have another time, another group of people that's going to come along and they're going to be $5 Negroes here? There's got to be a cutoff point. I'm sorry. And like I said, if we're going to sit up here and we're going to say that it's lineage based, you're going to have some white people in this country that's going to be able to go ahead and tell you that they have ancestors and stuff like that, and they may be able to go and prove it by looking at the 1870 census as well too. Look, there's my Nima in Louisiana. Okay, when that happens and that person looks like Tom Brady, okay, and they're getting a reparation check cut for the same amount as you're getting, what are you going to say about that?
Well, if you're saying you have, the 100% lineage, but you happen to come out with some light skin. I mean, are we talking about people that
No, you're not coming. No, you're not coming. No. I'm not talking about coming out with light skin. See, that's the thing. I'm talking about that you have so little black in you that you look like a full-fledged European. You cannot tell. You can't tell.
Black does have shades.
Yeah, I know black has shades. I know black has shades, but black also has. There's after generations, and like Trouble said, after generations of certain black people passing, and these people pass and they kept marrying white and having kids from white and white. That little black blood in them is so minute that you can barely even tell. So are you sitting here saying that these white people here that you can barely tell that you can't even tell? You can't tell if they have a drop of black blood in them, that these white folks here should get the same amount of money, or they should even be considered for reparations when their whole life they lived as white people. They never lived as a black person. And even though California has this law talking about, or they're trying to put it where you have to identify 10 years, if we're talking about a federal law, that might not be the case where they say, hey, you got to identify for 10 years. We got to remember where we're at. We're in America. And if it's a time for money to be up here and be split, traditionally, historically, we've seen that whenever money, from the civil rights to whenever there's been a time for money to be split and definitely given to black people, they've always shoehorned white people, white women, and other minority groups into getting that money. So that's what I'm saying. Are we seriously going to say that, hey, that this person here, whether you believe in DNA or not, their DNA comes back and say, you know what, you're 90 some odd percent white, but you're 10% black, and then that's all people got to say. Okay, well, yeah, they 10% black and they got the lineage, so yeah, they should get reparations. I mean, there's got to be a cutoff point.
Again, I go back to the list of people who were enslaved and freed. Who links to that? Because that's what it's about at the end of the day. People who were enslaved and freed. Where is the documentation of those people, and who links to those people? You can't have random ass people coming, oh, I picked so-and-so on the list. You know what I'm saying? There's a finite list of people that were enslaved and freed. Now, I'm not saying it's easy or it's just, let's look up the list and here's one list per se. But something exists, and there's probably missing pieces as well. Does that make sense? So all of this other shit is to, sorry.
I may have to mute that mic because you just cursing up a storm up here, Sweet Pea.
All this other stuff is just not legitimate. I think it's to stir the pot to make it more complicated than it is. Does that make sense?
It is a stir the pot. It is a stir the pot because people want to say, hey, you know what? And it's also a way of trying to punish black people as well. To say, okay, well, you really want your reparations, and hey, we're gonna find a way to include ourselves in it as well too. So this is something that as black people we need to think about. Nightfall on YouTube says, if you have more than 3 generations of any other lineage other than black, Negro, African American, you are not eligible. I mean, I think that you're gonna have to have some kind of qualifications added to this thing as well too. For whatever you got, I think that you're gonna have to add a few more things as well too. So that's just my personal opinion. But like I said, it's gonna get to the point where you're gonna have people, and that article is ridiculous because, like I said, if anybody talk about they got 1% and they sitting up here talking about that's like saying you got 1% white in you and you're white. I mean, it's ridiculous. So I mean, it just I think we really need to look into this thing because, like I say, nothing is set in stone. We know everything hasn't been finalized. We know there's no federal law for it or whatever. But as we're seeing some of these states and stuff, and they're doing this and doing that, I think we just need to keep our eyes open on this. You know, DJ Professor, Original, Trouble, Black Majority State. Hell no. If you guys got anything you want to say to this ad or any of these speakers down there, if you guys want to add anything to the actual conversation. I think Nightfall said one black parent plus half benefits or something like that. So he said, I don't know if he's saying if he means one black parent, then you get half the benefits. I'm not entirely sure, but that's interesting. Go ahead, Black, and then I'll get to you, Hell No.
Okay, so I don't think Miss Pamela Denise would mind me reading her response. I basically put this question up back in March again because there was a white woman on TikTok saying, "Oh, I just found out, you know, my great whatever was an enslaved American type situation." So I said I've DM'd several intellectuals about this a year ago, spoke about it in spaces, questioned the claim. Black for 12 years is adding a racial qualifier. She said the SCOTUS ruling does not require a program to ignore the race of the harmed person. When the unity was racism, Clarence Thomas's concurrence made that clear, as does the majority opinion. The 10 to 12 years prior to program start is an anti-fraud measure. This is where she stands on it. Not a qualifier, it's an anti-fraud measure. And so she said we're not going to $5 Indian or redress. So, you know, and I respect Ms. Pam to the utmost degree. I still think when you create a qualifier or whatever, however you want to phrase it, you do open the door for litigation. How the Supreme Court ultimately who's got to decide that falls, you know, whatever. I believe that when Brett Kavanaugh, who was asking that question, and I posted this, it was like a year ago, about lineage to the Asians, and that I think it was that Harvard case, and Ketanji Brown Jackson was sitting right next to him. When that happened, I said, I thought it was weird, I thought it was odd, but I said, you know what, they always have a dual-edged sword, so okay, we're making it very clear that lineage is something that is constitutional, and it will be upheld. However, when you open the door to lineage, you really do crack the door open to anybody that's in the lineage. And then the question really becomes, how do you constitutionally put up a gate? And I know I think ultimately, because they are in power, they control the Supreme Court, they're going to be the ones to decide what the gate is, if there's even the potential or possibility for a gate to be there. And you know, every time I've tried to talk about it, I'm glad it keeps coming up. I'm glad people keep talking about it. I love the genealogy test of 3 or 4 generations, you know, and because that keeps it within the lineage and doesn't really talk about race at all. So that sounds constitutional. And when Ms. Trouble was talking about that, it was like the first time I really was like, wow, that really sounds like a constitutional way to go with the lineage. Just keep it all inside of lineage and leave race out of it completely.
All right. Appreciate that, Black. Leroy Kidd, I don't know what you talking about. If anybody's been as silly as you talking about, you already know the answer to what the question that we're posing in your birth certificate, 20 years, that's in California. Okay. I'm talking about federal. Let's see federally, the federal law, if they're going to say, hey, you know what, if you've been living for the past 20 years, you're black or whatever, then because they do everything they can to try to get rid of race-based type things. So let's see what we talking about right here. So I don't know exactly what you're talking about. Like I said, if you can have people, somebody looks like Madonna sitting up here saying, hey, you know, I'm due reparations. I'm sure after a while, a lot of people will get pissed off on that. So I don't know what you're talking about, Leroy. Because if I see Madonna sitting up here talking about her great grandma was black and she's got 5% black in her and she's getting the same amount as everybody else, that's an issue there. And yes, California, they're not going to take everything that California do and make that into a federal law as well, too. So I'm not exactly sure what you're talking about. Hell no. Go ahead and unmute your mic.
I just want to say genealogy, tracing your genealogy is what I think people should do. And also I want to say black and white is a caste system. It could have been hot pink and yellow. I mean, you can just any color, just choose it. White men first class, black men second class. You can put any color in there. It's a caste system, and that's the trick bag they got us in. They have kept changing who we are, right? We all know them. We know them, right? Misclassification. Like you said, it was misclassification done, right? And I think you have to trace your genealogy and find out who you were before you were misclassified, whatever that is, and make them pay.
Okay, that was you were done?
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Yeah, I mean, and all this information is easy to. Listen, they got the. You can go to the. You can go see the census record. You can go see them, all of them.
Hey, hold on one second, Leroy Kidd. What are you talking about? 5% doesn't get you $1. How do you know what it's going to get you? Because I'm pretty sure you don't have anything to do with the law being put up in place. So I know you don't know what the hell you talking about sitting over there on YouTube running your mouth. Go ahead, hell no, and finish. You can finish.
Yeah, I'm just saying all this information, you can go look at it. You know what I'm saying? Fortunately, I was around people that done not got to see it. But as far as census records, all of it. And you can even see on some of the census records how they did their misclassification. I mean, you can go see it. But they're going to keep you in that trick bag. They're going to say, what is black? Because they know black is not it's a race that's made up. They know that. Just like African American, that's made up.
Leroy, you can get your dumb ass up out of the YouTube spot. You can go ahead and get your silly ass up out of the YouTube spot. Since you know so much about reparations, you can hop your punk ass up out of here and go do what you was doing. Nobody told you to come up in here, so you can hop your happy ass up out of here right now. You sitting over there running your mouth, Negro. You can hop your ass right up out the goddamn YouTube channel right now. Oh, yeah, I was speaking. I was telling I had it mute. I was telling Leroy he can get his punk ass up out of the actual YouTube channel right now, sitting up here running and talking slick at the mouth. Now you can go and read reparations on. You can read reparations on that, dumbass.
Yeah, tell him to come on over. We invite you.
He can bring his simple Simon ass right on over here and get on the microphone instead of being a coward sitting over there on YouTube, running slick off at the mouth. So you can come over here, Leroy.
Language, Toter, language.
Now this fool up here talking about somebody. This fool up here talking about somebody a dummy. I got his dummy right over here right now. He come on over here. Sit over there and shut your mouth and learn, Leroy. Nah, my boy. The only boy is an F boy is your daddy. So you might want to go ahead, run along and go blow your daddy and leave grown-ups at where grown-ups at. That's the F boy. The men in your family. The men in your I'm not your boyfriend, son. I don't give you the wrap around. Go oil your man friend down and get up out my chat, punk.
I think
Leroy better leave Toter the hell alone, because when Toter get on one, he be on one. Look, he gonna roast you all the way down, set you on fire, bring you back and do it all over again. Hit the reverse.
Who had their hand up too? Trouble, did you have your hand up, or who else had their hand up? I don't know who.
No, I'm speaking hard.
Okay. Professor Original, y'all want to go?
I got you, Tony. What you know about this record?
Hey, don't play that too much, because they'll hit us with a they'll hit us with the copyright strike.
Man, what in the world?
No, we trying to mouth check you, Leroy, with your sweet ass. That's who we trying to mouth check. Like I said, you the one started talking like a female, so you go ahead and shut your mouth. You sitting over there telling I'm trying to grown check people now. You over here running off at the mouth, talking all kind of noise. Now you want to act like you don't know what you were saying. So like I said, the link, we can put the link over there in the YouTube channel. You can come over here and you can speak on the microphone. So you can take, like I said, you can get, matter of fact, get this fool up out of here, running off at the mouth, talking. We gotta put this fool up out of here. Get up out of here. But anyways, DJ, Professor, y'all want to go ahead and say something?
I'm just going to say this, family. When it comes down to these reparations claims, if these folks come in, at which they want to, we all know they want to. We've been inspecting, and it's not nothing surprising about what these folks want to do. They don't want Black Americans to have any part of this money in this country that belongs to our ancestors, okay? That's what this is all about. So they're going to do everything they can to stop it, okay? Even have us, of course, debating all the time about these issues, and this is just something to throw us off track. The fact of the matter is, you come up in our claims and you're talking about, well, I got an ancestor that's Black from back then, I should have rights to the reparations, because we hear white people say this all the time, they should get reparations. No, you can't get reparations, because they actually did give reparations to white people back then that really didn't deserve it. And that was because of that idiot president by the name of Andrew Johnson. So if y'all go back into history, read up on that, they actually did get reparations. That was supposed to went to Black American, the freedmen. And that was reneged upon by Andrew Johnson, and he gave it to the slave owners. So I don't quite understand why white people still want to have a part of in the claims when you always gotten everything in this country. So so why do you think you deserve to have any part of this claim? You don't. And I'm going to land it right there.
Hey, let me give a shout out real quick to Avenge the Ancestors. Just subscribe to the YouTube channel and just did a super chat. Says just supporting the family, one love, peace. Thank you, Avenge the Ancestors. I know you over here on X as well too. So shout out to you and thank you for that donation as well. Go ahead, Wake AF, you got it.
I think it's super easy. It's going to be super easy to weed those people out. I mean, I find it to be a joke, personally. Like, if any of those people do come forward, I mean, how can you take it even seriously? That's how I feel about it. And they'll be easy to weed out. It's a joke.
Well, let me ask you a question real quick. Let me ask you a question real quick, because I know you're a white lady, and I know you come up in the spaces quite a bit. But what's the general consensus with white people and their feeling about reparations? I know right now the vast majority are against it, but do you see it picking up any steam in the white community right now?
Well, I would just use my on the app experience, because I don't really have an opportunity in person to talk to people about it, or I haven't made, opportunities, I should say, to do that. Another story, but I have been. It's a mixed bag. I had a couple of interactions today with people because I've been posting a lot about it, and it was a positive response. Like, yeah. And if it needs to be paid over the next 200 years or whatever, that's what it needs to be. And then the total opposite reaction a few days ago, I didn't do it. This stupid ignorant argument of it wasn't me, why should I have to pay for that? Which is so easy to debunk and prove. You know what I mean? That's just a whack argument. So it's a mixed bag. I don't really have like a large, I should say, I don't have a large sample size to give you besides my experience here. So it is a mixed bag. I think there's more reasonable people than you believe that there are, but on this app, things are also amplified and kind of heightened tensions more than they are in real life.
Yeah, I wondered, like, because I know on the app is supercharged, but I was just wondering in your day-to-day real life, you know, if you come across if
like I haven't really talked to white people in person about it. I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not asking people how they feel about it in person. I find myself asking online, but yeah, I mean, it's something to consider. I have no problem asking people to their face. It's not for that reason. It's just more so, you know, you reach people here, you hope to reach a larger amount of people here.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Definitely, we definitely would, you know, and with you, you know, coming up in the spaces and stuff like that, because we're asking, because we would like to gauge the temperature of you know, white America. We know from the polls and everything, and we know online that we know the vast majority of white people are against it at this point in time. But it has, I think we've gained some more supporters than what the actual media shows, but I know the vast majority is still against it. So we're just trying to see exactly. You say the phone going out again?
Yeah, you're a little in the matrix.
Okay, y'all go ahead, and I'll be right back.
Go ahead, Black Majority.
I don't know what's up with these spaces lately, but they have been garbage. Let me see. We can go ahead and get this thing back reconnected.
Of the state or this town, because he said he was being denied minority business certification. He was a contractor. He was trying to get these minority contracts because he took a DNA test, and it said he was 90% Caucasian, 6% Indigenous American, and 4% Sub-Saharan African. So they ended up denying this thing. He went through the process. I don't think it ever went past the state. The guy, I mean, he's obviously white. Could he look like these current Native Americans? Possibly. Looking at a picture of him here. But this would actually be a really good reference case. Now, this was a state-based case, and they essentially said that, you know, race is not the only qualifier. Being someone who was disadvantaged was also another one. So that did clear constitutional muster, disadvantagedness. So in other words, you know, if you're suffering poverty, or if you're not able to get full access to the system, those seem to all line up with some level of cost, at least back then, right? Based on these recent Supreme Court decisions, you would have to line them up and see if that's still going to be something that they uphold. But those are the qualifiers that they had, and he did lose that particular case. But these cases, you know, when they start passing out those checks, you gotta believe that some people are going to try and they're going to sue just to test the system one way or the other, and so they really need to make it very, very clear what the qualifications are, so that you don't have thousands, tens of thousands, possibly millions of these people saying, hey, you know, we found this person who was, and really don't got to be connected to enslavement. It could be, you know, a person who was born in Jim Crow, because that would give you 3 or 4 generations right now. So, yeah, but this is a really good case. I'll put it down in the purple chat.
Did they give a definite reason why they denied him on the paper?
Hey, can y'all hear me now?
So this is the
Hey, can y'all? Okay.
Yeah, no, I can hear you. This is the article where they're saying he sued. There's another article, I have to find that one where it actually was adjudicated. But I believe the fact that he could not prove that he was disadvantaged was the ultimate reason that he did not win. Because there was no definition of what a minority was, and that's kind of the basis of his lawsuit. And so they got to make it very clear who are the people that are qualified. I think that eliminates, because then a judge can look at it and say, well, these are the qualifications. We believe these are constitutional. Do you match any of this criteria? And if the answer is no, then a judge could kick it out, before it ever goes to trial or anything like that.
So they don't know what a minority is and disadvantaged. That could be 70% of everybody in America. Disadvantaged.
So y'all can hear me fine?
Yeah, much better.
Okay. All right. Well, DJ, go ahead. We're not going to keep it open too much longer. We're get ready to close it out. So you and Professor want to say something real quick?
I just put the California Reparations Task Force final report in the Jumbotron. If y'all want to read it, it's 40 chapters deep. Shout out to Chris over there in California. You know what I mean? You could look up, I believe right here on Twitter, the California Reparations Task Force final report. What would you call it? He's just reading it out loud here on X. I haven't seen him do one in a while because I'm pretty sure it's pretty much done. But look up California. Chris Sacramento, I tagged him right here in the purple chat. So we see him, Chris Sacramento, and he was reading the California Reparations Task Force report here on X for the last couple months. So y'all could go either read it or listen to him in the audible sense if you want to listen to it like that. But it's right here in the Jumbotron, top left-hand side, somewhere in the purple pill. California's final task force reparations report. So if y'all want to know the understanding, what the qualifications are, whoop-de-woo. And like I said, my wording is just repeating AB 3121. I don't know any more other than that. You know what I mean? But go ahead, though.
All right. Professor, if you want to say something, DJ's got a space. DJ, you got a space tonight too, right?
Yeah, and I'm also looking for the qualifications. I know it was up there, but they might have pushed it into the report, so it might be in the report. And like I said, that thing 40 chapters is a book for sure. You know what I mean? Because Chris was over here, spending at least 6 hours at space reading each chapter, 1 or 2 chapters here. You know what I mean? And then don't forget it's sub chapters to the chapter. Chapter 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. So you're gonna be reading for a minute. It's deep.
Can I ask, are you guys all in agreement that reparations should go to the descendants of the slaves that were freed at the time and times that they were freed?
Well, yeah, we definitely believe that the descendants of chattel slavery are due reparations.
Yes. So why is it more? I mean, I know there's nuances, but that is really the base starting point, correct or no?
No, incorrect. Basically, you have to think about those that were emancipated, which is 4 million of us, quote unquote. And
that's what I mean.
Well, hold on. That was a while ago now. So we are the descendants of those emancipated people, and they never got their 40 acres in the mill. So therefore, today it will be our inheritance. We want our check.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. We're on the same page. I just different words.
So again, a person that's coming from Colombia that's darker than me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a red bone knacker from Weequay. You know what I'm saying? So it don't matter what your color of reflection is. At the end of the day, you ain't been identified as such. So with that being said, this is why we got to start moving stronger to actually secure whatever states' rights we are going to give, but we offer federal reparations first. We offer federal reparations first, federal reparations. Dr. Sandy Garrity got it right, and Miss Kristen Mullen saying that, hey, look, we want to include slavery 250 years in our autobiography from well, it wouldn't be autobiography, it would just be a biography on Black life from Here to Equality, saying that we want to include that, but that was so long ago, and who gets paid what from what time. Ancestors moved on, escaped plantation, went to Canada, Mexico, went back to Africa, whatever, right? So we just going to base this information on what reparations is owed to Black Americans that descend from chattel slavery is based off the Reconstruction era. But another person that got something right was Sean D. Rochester, who wrote a book called The Black Tax. And in that book, he's pretty much stated we are owed $6.4 quadrillion and counting. And Sandy Darity just upped the numbers from Here to Equality from 14 trillion to 16 trillion to adjust for inflation recently, because the price of eggs is $10 for it, boy, it doesn't. Don't be throwing no eggs, no more mischief. Now you got to eat them suckers. You know what I'm saying? So basically, again, that's 16 trillion. It's just based off the Reconstruction era alone. And we are all reparations from that by itself. Just the Reconstruction era, because we were locked out. Martin Luther King was right. The colonizers killed our ancestors for that. Hey, I might have led my people to a burning house because he realized that integration didn't come with reparations. So therefore, meaning we have to go back to segregation in order to show y'all we ain't playing when we want our bread. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, real quick, Woke, let me go because I'm going to get to Black Majority State, and then we're going to go ahead and Professor, and we're going to close this thing out because I'm trying to go ahead and close it out now. I'll let you say something real quick. I'll give you a minute, but then I got to go to Black Professor. I got to go to a Black Majority State, then we go on to Professor, and we're going to close it out for the night.
Mine is quick. So would need to prove that you're related to people who were emancipated or freed, whatever your terminology is.
I got you. Just to make it quick. Not to tear them out of conversation, Work. I got you. So
only thing you got to do is go to the census, 1870 census, and you can prove that. So
just to keep it simple.
People want to make it complicated. You know what I mean? And that's what.
Well, it's not that they're making it complicated. It's jealousy. It's nothing complicated about where one person comes from. So Talib Kweli is a punk. You could go over and read his article on how he felt. ADOS is trash on Medium. ADOS is trash on Medium. We're not. I'm just saying that for context. Shout out to ADOS Advocacy Foundation. Shout out to Yvette Carnell and Tom. So with that being said, Talib Kweli wrote a hit piece saying ADOS is trash because we didn't want to include other melanated folks that were non-Black American in reparations. This is how the whole conversation got started of the diaspora war we have now, of those saying, hey, we shouldn't get reparations, you lazy, all this other stuff, go get a job, knacker, and these are other Black melanated folks that are not from the soil, that have no lineage here, don't got no birth certificate, just got here in 1985. We're not even talking about 1965 when we just recently did a 59th anniversary of the Immigration Reform Act. And obviously we see nowadays, 60 years later, what the hell is that done for us? Nothing, because when these folks come over here, they don't patronize Black American business. They don't want to integrate with us like that, even though they live in our communities and our confines. And when they get killed over here by the white supremacists, oh, brother man, Professor, help me, brother. Nope. No, sir.
I just want to add really quick.
Hey, real quick. Well, we gotta move on because I gotta try to close this space out. So let me get the Black, and then I'll get the Professor, and then we gotta close it out because I gotta do something. But go ahead, Black, you got it.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna be real fast. So I just talked about the white guy who tried to sue in Washington State. Well, just recently, and I put it in purple fill. It says a federal judge has ordered a U.S. minority business agency to serve all races. This happened back in March, and essentially, what the judge who made this decision said is that white people they weren't afforded the same right to this disadvantage assumption, and that he felt that was wrong, and he basically ended that. And so the people who actually filed the lawsuit said, we think this decision is going to be applied far and wide to hundreds of programs that have any type of identical language as far as this presumption of minorities being disadvantaged. This is where the country is going. This is where, these people in high places are at. And so when the Supreme Court, again, double-edged sword, they say, oh, let's open it up to lineage, or this lineage is a real thing. They always, these people are demons, and we got to really appreciate and understand that. And so could they say this lineage thing is absolutely 100% how it's got to be? They're the ones that are making these decisions, and the people on our side have got to figure out a way to address it, because these are the decisions that they're making today in real time.
All right, thank you, Black. Professor, you want to say something real quick? Let me give a shout out to EHZ as well, too, for their contribution on Cash App. Professor, you want to say something real quick before we close this out?
Hey, good space tonight, family. Let's get ready to move over to the next space, part 2, over to the next space.
Real talk, real talk. We're going to go ahead. DJ, you getting ready to start your space up, right?
Yeah. So just real quick, I know you got to go. So
yeah, real quick.
Yeah, I know. This was read 2 years ago. I don't see any update on this since. This is about the eligibility for reparations. So this is someone interviewing Javon Scott Lewis, and it says right here, in February, the members seemed to agree there should be a special consideration for descendants of chattel slavery as outlined in the bill, but appeared hesitant to make the definitive decision because of the potential impact on other reparations legislation, including H.R. 40, the federal reparations bill. This is why, rest in peace to Donald Payne Jr., when I met him, and when we had our Secure the Trial rally, that's why he kept saying the only way we're going to get reparations is through H.R. 40. But that's a quiff. But and then I just read this last little paragraph. We're talking about, and this is Javon Scott Lewis speaking to the reporter, we're talking about who's getting the money. He said we should be talking about how we're going to take care of our people from this day forward and how we're going to reverse all the harm. That should be the central question. We're spending the money before we even got it. So there you go.
All right. Appreciate everybody coming into space tonight, guys. Appreciate everybody on YouTube as well, too. DJ's about to start a space up here in a little bit, so definitely check him out. We will see you guys. I'm not sure we're going to do another space this week, but if not.
Genealogy. Do it.
Yeah. Nah, I don't know if I'm doing no genealogy. That's.
I don't know who I am anymore. Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know about that, but we finna get ready to close this one here out for the night. We finna close this one out for the night. So peace. Thank you, Tata, for the everybody. Thank Tata for the t-shirts and everything else as well. To shout out to Trouble. Shout out to Trouble and Original. And we'll probably try to. I'm gonna try to get with Tata again and coordinate giving away some more t-shirts as well, too, guys. Especially before Juneteenth comes back in as well, too. And y'all make sure y'all support the sister business, Black-owned business. We're big on supporting Black-owned business, so definitely go ahead and support Tata. I retweeted that out. You guys make sure you retweet it out as well, too. Definitely support Black-owned business. Support Newstoter as well, too, guys. We need the support as well, too, with this media thing. So we'll go ahead and we'll see you guys. Peace. Go to DJ Space, and we'll holler at you guys. Peace. Everybody be safe tonight.
Do the space, call it genetics. Peace.